Hello and welcome back to the channel. Yes, it's been a while purely because my laptop died, so I've had to go out and buy a new MacBook Pro, and so that's been horrendously bad timing because that's been a massive struggle for me. And then the light, which I normally film my YouTube videos from the desk, that died as well 2 weeks ago as well. So this month's been an absolute joke, or last month as it was now in January. But just don't even go there. It's been, to be honest with you, the MacBook Pro 14-inch M1 that I've got, which is the 10 core, hasn't really impressed me that much either, so that's got some issues as well, but we won't go into that because this is a happy video and the MacBook Pro is already pissing me off, to be honest with you. Let me know in the comments if anybody's got a 14-inch MacBook Pro M1 10 core that's giving them as much shit as this one is with me anyway. But can you believe Lightroom has actually been around for 14 flipping years? 14 years! And only now am I starting, that's the Lightroom Classic now we're talking about, not Lightroom Mobile. So only now am I starting to get my tiny little head around the cataloguing and the behind the scenes, if you will, under the hood of Lightroom. Because I've always struggled with the organisation, the file management we'll call it, of Lightroom. It's always been a bit of an issue. But I'm not the only one, because when I was researching this video, a lot of other people, a lot of my friends, a lot of them were gloating and saying, nah, it's easy, what you're talking about. But a lot of people were actually saying they struggle with the organisation as well. So that might be for you. If not, and you're an expert, let me know in the comments if I'm still doing something wrong. I'm all ears. This all started because I needed to do a new website and I wanted all my RAWs, because basically one of my biggest problems with Lightroom is I've got about 15 of these bad boys. Now these are all Western Digital WD Elements external hard drives, massive things, and they're all between 8 and 12 terabytes. They're massive. Now obviously I do this professionally. I've got like a photography and video and design company, so I film a lot, so I fill these relatively fast. It's really annoying. So if I've got a photograph and I come back and I've got the memory card, I stick it in there, I pop it on there, one of these as a backup, and when I go looking for the photographs, I have no idea which one of these hard drives it's on. So what I decided to do, and obviously I've got my YouTube channel as well, so I decided to separate it and just continue doing that as a backup. You should always have a backup. You should always have 3 actually. So I've got the backup on there, but also just to put all the RAWs I like, all my favorite RAWs, on this. Now this isn't anything posh. It's not an SSD or anything fancy like that. It's just a WD My Passport. This one's for the Mac, but it doesn't have to be for the Mac. Now, and if you get one of these off Amazon, Type D, I think they call that, to USB-C, it'll go straight into the Mac. So yeah, these are really, really good. I'll put a link in the bottom to these. Dead cheap. And now I've got all my RAWs, just street and landscape, as it says exactly there on the tin. So if I want to go looking for any photographs, all of my photographs are going to be on here without exception. Obviously, I delete all the crap ones or keep them on the backups, but all of you get the point. So it just means that everything is safe. And I've only got 2 terabyte out of the 4 terabyte I've got filled, if that makes any sense on here. So this is 4 terabyte basically. I'm only filling half of it already. So yeah, I am going to try and whittle this down over the years as well and try and make this last a lot longer than the 6 months that these tend to last me. Right, let's go through the process. We've just taken our photographs onto the memory card, and this is what I used to do. Memory card goes in here. What I would normally do is, you can see I've got the Nikon Z7 folder on the desktop there. I would normally open this. Here's all the files I took the other day, and I would drag all these files into Adobe Bridge. Now this is where I go through and whittle down all the pictures that I've taken. Say I've taken 150 pictures and you want to keep 2 or 5 or whatever it is. I would normally go through and just give like if I press, this is, I say, Adobe Bridge, so it's really, really handy because I've got all this information here about the photographs. It's good for rating. It doesn't do much. It just rates the photographs. It just helps me whittle them down. But there's no histogram, which really pisses me off. If anybody knows how you can get a histogram in Adobe Bridge, that'd be great, but I don't think there is. So all I do is go through Apple and 1 or Control and 1 if you're on a PC, and then just rate all the pictures that I want. So yeah, just go through all the pictures and get rid of all the ones that you don't want. So once you've narrowed it down, which clearly we've done now, we've got this narrowed down to 13. So out of all the images taken, well, 12, because that's a whatever that is file. So now we've got all these narrowed down. I'm still in the memory card at this stage. I'm not even on the desktop of the computer. So with the Nikon XQD card, it's not an issue. if you've got a slower card, you might want to copy them onto your hard drive first and then go into Bridge. But this is still the way I'm doing it, even though a lot of you guys will do this straight into Lightroom. Okay, so now we've got all these here. I can go copy, and then I open a folder in the new hard drive. So the new hard drive, which we've just got plugged in there now, I've got to be careful that because it's not an SSD. You don't need an SSD for this sort of editing. When I'm editing videos, I've got several SSDs which are really, really good for editing video, but because you don't want to put stuff on your computer. But just for storing photographs, these are really good, but obviously not as reliable as SSD. So make sure you've got a backup of anything that you want to keep or don't want to lose. So this is the inside the hard drive. The new hard drive. So crucially, all these folders have just been created in the last month or two because I've just done this for my website, so I know all of these folders like the back of my hand because I've only just created them. It's not like I couldn't tell you what's on here because this might have been created 6 months ago, you know. And I say I've got about 14 of these flipping things all over the place. So yeah, so this is all right. Landscape photography. Let's go to name. Now I'd create a folder now for that shoot, which these were taken just on a drive around Carmarthen a couple of days ago. So if I click on, I've created this folder called Carmarthen All, which is just a random, all my Carmarthen photographs, and then a random, if I go to Carmarthen area random, I would just drop those raws into there now. So I just can copy and paste those raws into that folder, specifically under the area, so I know exactly where they are. So okay, as you can see, I've already edited some of the files from that shoot. But what's that? Yeah, I've already edited the photographs from that shoot. But at least I know where they are, and because I'm doing it externally to Lightroom, I feel like I've got more control and I feel more familiar because, as I say, I'm going through Bridge, and I've been using Photoshop and all that way before Lightroom was even around. So okay, so what we've got to do now is we've got to go into Lightroom. I'll close Bridge down. We don't need Adobe Bridge anymore. Incidentally, somebody said that Google Chrome, not Classic Chrome, Google Chrome is partly causing problems with the Mac M1. So Safari might be more reliable. So I'm trying Safari to see if it's more reliable than Google Chrome. So Lightroom. Okay, now we're in Lightroom. At this point, you're probably thinking, why don't you just click on the import box there and do it all through Lightroom? And I know that's kind of the best way of doing it because you can add tags and stuff, and there's things like other organisation, which I've not getting my head around. So if you understand all that, let me know in the comments if you've got any tips on this. But you can add to collections and all that sort of thing. And what I'd normally do is, what the old way was, is literally create a collection here. So add to collection, and then I would say, I don't know, Carmarthen random drive. Let's call it Carmarthen random. So that's what I would normally do, is create that folder there like that, and then import all those pictures that we've just, all those pictures. Obviously can't re-import them because they're already there. But what I would normally do is create a quick collection here, which I can import them over to that way. But the problem with doing that is it didn't allow me to access all the photographs very well because the collections weren't necessarily on the right hard drive. Sometimes they'd be on a different hard drive. So crucially, now that I've got them all on this one hard drive, I don't need to add them to a collection because I've already got them in the folder here. So I can just go to Carmarthen there, and then Carmarthen area random, and those are the files that we've just put in that thing. Now obviously it was great in amount because I've already imported them into Lightroom. Now what I've got to do is, if, for example, now we've just imported those files into that folder into this hard drive, but Lightroom doesn't know we've done it. So what I'd have to do to even find it is go to, let's cancel that. I would have to go back up to let's get rid of collections. That's what I'd normally end up in. Is go into the landscape folder that we've just added the pictures into, and then right click on that, and then come down to synchronize folder. So I click on synchronize folder. It's going to go looking for files external to Lightroom that it didn't know existed, or if you've moved any outside of Lightroom, it'll go looking for them. So if I click synchronize folder, it'll now go looking for anything I've just added there. It will take a couple of seconds to do that. As it happens, I've actually not done anything that I shouldn't have. Now, you shouldn't do it this way. You should move files inside Lightroom, but that's something else that I just don't feel works for me, because I don't always have Lightroom open, and I might need to delete or shift files around without having to open Lightroom, and I find it so much slower doing it through Lightroom. This is something that's probably somebody's going to say, you moron, it's dead easy, this is how you do it. And maybe in a year's time I look back at this video thinking, why didn't I do this? Right then, so now I've got all the folders there, and there's our hard drive, Street and Landscape 4TB, which is the name of this one. I can now click on landscape photography, and I know in there that I've got a folder called Command and All. I know in there I've got a Command and Area Random. So I know there's the pictures that that we're just looking at. Okay. So what I can do is then go through all these pictures. Say if I like that one, I can sort of say, well, I've decided I'm going to keep that one. I'll give it 1 star. Now, if it's a single image, I'll give it 1 star. If it's a focus stack, I'll give it 2 stars, because you normally have a foreground and a background. So I'll give it 2 stars just by pressing number 2. It'll give me 2 stars for a focus stack, because you normally have 2 images for a focus stack. The same with the HDR, because you normally have 3 images for a bracket. So you'd have the dark, the medium, and the bright. Because you don't only have 3 images for the bracket, I'd press 3 and set that to 3. And then same as a pano, because sometimes you might bracket a pano. So if it was a pano image, I'd give them 3. So as I needed to, I can go through that shoot and edit all the HDRs, edit all the panos, and do them all together like that. Now once I've got the final image that I really, really like, I'd hit 5. So by hitting 5, that's a JPEG. I don't want to do it onto the JPEG. Let's do it onto that RAW. So by hitting 5, I've now added, let's get rid of that one. That should just be 1 because it's a single shot. I've now added that to my favorites because it's got 5 stars on it. I'll go to landscape photography folder now. Just go click on the library or press L. I can go back down here, and if I click on landscape photography there, and then just click on 5 stars, so turn filters on, and just click on 5 stars, I'll get all the files that I like that have been rated 5 stars. So if I want to click on London, for example, or Florence, just click on Florence, click on 5 stars. You've got all the photographs I like from that particular trip. Just easier. And then as time goes on and I decide I don't like that photograph anymore, I can just go back to hitting it down to 1 or something like that. I can just press 1 and it'll bugger off or whatever. So I can end up narrowing it down, But it's a nice, easy way of well, I think it's a nice, easy way. Many of you're probably still thinking, why don't I just use this import thing? And I just feel that this bit at the top is a bit confusing, and I don't know, because I'm not physically putting the files in the folder myself, I just feel a bit uneasy about this whole system. I've never found this particularly straightforward, and I know a lot of you guys, once you get used to it, it's like anything, you get used to it. But for me, because I've been using the software for so much longer than Lightroom's been out, I just feel like I trust it doing it my way, and it's just dead easy, because I just feel more confident that I know exactly what's in this folder and stuff. Now there shouldn't be wedding favorites there at all. That's only for the because I'm doing the website. So the wedding ones, well, that folder there, that entire folder will be deleted and put on one of these. It just means that I can sort of find stuff easier. I think one of the biggest problems I always had was I never ever knew which of these massive fellas I had. If you sort of said to me, where's the photographs you took from Sky, I'd never be able to know which of these it was on, because I would always just put it on whichever I had to hand. I wasn't very organised with these. Whichever one I wasn't full, I just put it on there. Believe it or not, this actually seems to have happened a lot. I went out and shoot with a few friends at the Brecon Beacons about 2 years ago and completely forgot about these photographs. I must have come back, dropped them on one of these hard drives and literally forgotten about them. So when I was sorting this hard drive out and I went through and found, oh, flipping heck, I forgot about that shoot. So I actually... It means that all of my photographs from Brecon Beacons, for example, are there. So if I open the Brecon Beacons and I can find that photo shoot dead easy just by opening Brecon Beacons, coming down to Martin here, and I can find that shoot. And then just by clicking on the 5 star, I'll get to see all the photographs that I like from that shoot. And it just means I can appreciate the images more, because I'm not going to be going through like individual folders. I can just click on Brecon Beacons, click on 5 star, and I've just got all of the shoots from the Brecon Beacons that I like. And I can just go through and think, oh, flipping heck, I forgot about that location. I haven't been there for years, or whatever. And I can just go and revisit any location. And it just means that I've got so much more opportunity now just to flick through old images and appreciate them. And I'm really, really looking forward to feeling a little bit more organised, because I just don't feel like my photography is being particularly organised. So a massive benefit from this is just going to be organising and appreciating photographs, and yeah, not losing photographs and completely forgetting that I even took them. So what does it mean going forward? It means that if I need to grab any of my photographs, I know exactly where they are. Everything is nice and simple and sleek. Just pop that off there. I know that, for example, if I went away for a week or had some marketing to do, had some website work to do, I know all of my images are going to be street or landscape are going to be on there. There's no video, there's nothing else on there. It's just my raws, all my favorite raws, and I've still got to go through and delete this and keep it optimized. So it's really, really cool. And the other thing is, this was about 85 quid, so it's not even expensive. An SSD version of this would cost you hundreds of pounds, and because it's runs straight off the USB there, I haven't got to worry about having mains, whereas I used to use these because I felt these would be more reliable, but of course you need a mains for these fellows as well. So these are really good. I've never had one go wrong. I have had these go wrong though. I haven't had Western Digital ones go wrong. I've had Seagate ones go wrong, so I won't recommend them, but Western Digital ones have, touch wood, till now I've always been okay. So yeah, going forward that's going to be amazing that I know where all my raws are. Just to reiterate as well, please back up your files. My mate Julian, I'll put a video up to Julian's video, and I'll put a link in the description. Do check out Julian's video on how he organises and backups up his files. It's a really, really good video, and if you've got cloud and all that sort of stuff, you'll probably know. You're probably already there. You know what to do. It's just me, I'm the crap one. So yeah. The other thing is, what I want to do is, going forward, I want to be able to add tags to my images. So if, for example, I've got a project running with street photography, I can add anything with red in it, or I can add all of my photographs that have got reflections in it, or anything that's got like a particular project that I'm running at the time, and then I can just search for those tags. So for example, if I wanted to find photographs of mountains in Snowdonia, I've only got to type in mountains in tags, and it'll find all the photographs, or Snowdonia, it'll find all the photographs that I've done of mountains in Snowdonia. So going forward, if I ever needed to put like a book together or something like that, or a page for the website, or write a blog, then it's going to be easier. The other thing is, you get people talking about lenses, and they have this ability to sort of find and filter every photograph they've ever taken with the 33mm 1.4. I've just bought the new Fujifilm 33 1.4, so let me know if you want to see a video on that, thoughts video on that. And it just always baffles me how people, I never understand how people could just find those photographs, the only photographs they've ever taken on that one lens. And because I've got it all on here, and Lightroom now has the metadata, I haven't got to go looking through manually all this massive amount of hard drives specifically for photographs I took on that. So it's a lot easier to do that. I've always wanted to be able to do that. So yeah, I'll be able to be more organised in that one. The other thing is, I'd like to be able to, I don't know if Lightroom does it yet, but add like location tags. Like the Fuji does. If I take a picture and it's connected to my phone, it will put the GPS on it. I know the drone does as well. I get the GPS off the drone. The Nikon doesn't do it at the minute, but I'd like to go forward, hope that Lightroom or future cameras are going to have that ability there. So that'll be really, really cool to be able to do that. The other thing as well, really, really important, is if you haven't done this, it's a really good idea to do it, because it was really upsetting going through looking at my street photography from early days. I was like trying to build a portfolio, like, and learn as well, going through from my early days, because I've now got all of my street photographs in one location. Going through them, even the ones I considered ages ago to be really, really good, I was like, flipping out, these are crap. Like, it was a really hard pill to swallow, but obviously without doing this, without having everything in one location, a lot of my early photographs would just be forgotten about, and I'll forget I've even been to Manchester or whatever to do a street shoot, or I forget about certain photographs which might be handy for marketing. But the progression that you can see in your photographs by having a system like this, where you can literally look back and go, flipping heck, I remember that, and look how much better I am now. It's a really, really difficult pill to swallow, as I say, when you look back at those old images, but it's really important, because especially now, whereas I'm sort of doubting a lot of my photography and my progression, when you look back at your old images, it really does make you realise how much you've progressed, and it's an important thing to do. So yeah, definitely good in that respect. But also a reminder of locations. When I go through my landscape photography, as I said, some of the places I think, flipping heck, I forgot about that place. I haven't been there for years, so I can just, if I'm looking for locations in Pembrokeshire or whatever like that, I can just jump in and see what photographs I've done and what location I've been to before. and yeah, and find some locations. It's also handy for my My Map, Google My Map, which I'm trying to build. So if you haven't never done Google My Maps, again, Julian's done a really good video on My Maps. I'm not on commission with Julian, but I should be. So do check out his video on Google My Maps. But again, using Lightroom to find and pin all these different locations that you've been is really, really handy. So yeah, let me know if you've got any tips, anything I'm not doing right, of anything I can improve, anything I'm doing wrong. We're all learning. And I know you're going to say my rating system is wrong and there's ways of moving stuff around, but let me know in the comments if there's anything glaringly obvious that you think I can improve on anyway. The other thing I forgot to mention is I always store the Lightroom catalog itself on my laptop itself. I'm gonna have to, because I've got problems with the laptop, and I'm gonna have to delete everything and reinstall everything. I don't know what's going on with the flipping thing. So I've got everything stored on the actual computer, so I could just copy that Lightroom catalog, copy everything off that, and then put it all on the external hard drive, and then pop it back on when it's done. But yes, let me know if there's anything else I've got wrong. I'm sure there's something. We're all learning, and can't believe it's taken me this long. It actually does feel stupidly simple now, but I just feel more confident knowing that all the files are on here, and I can access and move the files around on there, and not do it in Lightroom. I think crucially that was the fundamental problem, just being intimidated by doing it in Lightroom. But yeah, going forward, everything is on here. So the other thing about having it all on one little hard drive, is if I ever needed to back this up, I can literally buy another one of these or another one of these and literally chuck everything off this onto here. So if this does fill up in 2 or 3 years time, I can just chuck the entire contents onto one of them and start from scratch. But yeah, hope you enjoyed that. I hope that was helpful. Let me know if I've made any stupid mistakes, and I'll see you in the next one. Thanks for watching, guys. Take care.